Hello, we are continuing the story of Jesus before Pilate from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 15. Today we're going to read verses 9 through 15. It's Thursday, March the 23rd. This is the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene with your daily devotion. Continuing the story of Jesus before Pilate. Verse 9, Mark chapter 15. "Do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews?" asked Pilate. Knowing it was out of self-interest that the chief priest had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priest stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas instead. "What shall I do then with the one you call the King of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him," they shouted. "Why, what crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. And that is the word of the Lord. The article today by Tim Kellerman is titled, "Why?" Here's what Tim writes. "As I read and reread today's passage, it dawned on me that the only recorded voice of defense on Jesus' behalf was Pilate. The person who washed his hands of any responsibility for Jesus and turned him over to be crucified was also the lone voice who questioned the intentions of the crowd. Mark informs us that Pilate knew it was out of self-interest that the chief priest had handed Jesus over to him. And to that, Pilate asked, why? Despite the resistance of our culture to the things of God, I find there is still a curious why as to the claims of the gospel. How it is that a man would be willing to die for the sins of the world. Paul addresses this confusion when he wrote, "Very rarely will anyone die for a righteous person." He went on, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Jesus was crucified. Why? It's a good question. The answer? See Jesus turn his head in your direction and say, "Because I love you." The hymn is "He Loves Me" by Isaac Watts. He loves me, he loves me, he loves me, this I know. He gave himself to die for me because he loves me so. And from the book of Philippians chapter 2 verse 8. "And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross." This is your daily devotion for Thursday, March the 23rd. Have a blessed day.